The last few years have been pretty rough for the gaming industry. Microtransactions have gotten even more outlandish. E3, one of the biggest annual game events, died in 2021, and we're about halfway through this console generation, and it feels like it hasn't even gotten started yet. Big production games are getting deleted only weeks after release, and on top of that, due to the state of the economic world, consoles are getting even more expensive, with no price drops in sight. You saw the title though, how could I possibly say that we are in the golden age of gaming? I want to present a different perspective. Older games, even games that just released just a few years ago, have become more accessible than ever before. I got the baby. Just because modern gaming has become so corporate doesn't mean that old games stop existing. And today I want to explore how just in the past few years, playing older games has gotten really incredible. Because now we can not only play these games, but we can enhance these games with modern quality of life features like widescreen, 60 FPS, and upscaling. Nowadays, we have tools that would have been a pipe dream a decade ago. No matter who you are, I guarantee that there is some kind of quality gaming experience that you can have for yourself. And I'm not just talking about playing Clash Royale on your phone. Before I begin, I need to get something out of the way. Piracy is illegal. I do not condone piracy. Dump and rip your own games, ROMs, and ISOs. This is also not a tutorial video, and I just want to briefly showcase all the exciting advancements in gaming and how far that we've come in just the past few years. I want to talk about emulation. I've been emulating games for over a decade, and I remember when emulators used to be significantly less powerful and more difficult to set up. Now, even on lower power devices like a random old laptop, you can emulate the 5th generation of consoles, PS1, N64, and Dreamcast, with great performance, and you might even be able to get away with something more demanding like PS2 games. And on a moderate power device like a Steam Deck, you can play most PS2, GameCube, and Xbox games flawlessly, and even enhance them. Here's one of my favorite PS2 games, Ape Escape 3. This is what it originally looked like on the PS2. Now, here's the same game running at 4K in widescreen on PCSX2, a PS2 emulator on PC. This game used to be notoriously difficult to emulate just a few years ago, and you had to make significant compromises to get anything close to playable. Now, aside from some of the simplistic lighting and shadows, it's something close to what could be an official remaster. And many games have widescreen codes that allow the games to properly scale to 16:9. Here's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 running on Dolphin, a GameCube and Wii emulator using the widescreen AR code on the Dolphin wiki. And speaking of the Dolphin emulator, thanks to the Mayflash Dolphin Bar, a Wii sensor bar made for PC, I can use real Wii remotes to play my emulated Wii games at 4K widescreen. This feels like it should be impossible, but it's not. Another emulation project, RetroArch, is a multi-console emulator and something I've been following for years, and it has become mature and performant in almost every use case, even on really low power devices. It has a number of emulator cores, which allow you to play basically every console release before the year 2000 and even some after that. RetroArch runs on basically every device as well: Windows, Android, iOS, and even some unofficial ports to old consoles. You can even download it on Steam, though I do recommend downloading it from their official site as it gives you a more feature-rich version. I do understand that for a lot of people, emulation can seem daunting, and there can be a lot of choice overload on what to do. We now have amazing tools like Retrobat for Windows and Batocera for Linux. Remember those old game collection games like Sonic Mega Collection and Namco Museum? Now imagine if you could make your own version of those games with whatever games that you want. Retrobat does a lot of the hard parts of emulation for you, like downloading the emulators and configuring your gamepads, and it presents it to you in a console-like interface with lots of options for customization. We are also now at the point that we're surpassing emulation, and some fans are completely reverse engineering these games instead and making true PC ports of games. We especially saw that last year when the Xbox 360 version of Sonic Unleashed got an unofficial PC port, and it runs and looks amazing. And new PC ports of old games are coming out all the time that people are less aware of. Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, Twilight Princess, Jak and Daxter, and so many more games are getting unofficial PC ports. There's a link in the description for a wiki that has numerous unofficial PC ports of dozens of old games that you can try right now. And speaking of PC ports, consoles have gotten so expensive nowadays. What if you could just make your own console instead with your old gaming rig? And I don't mean just automatically starting Steam Big Picture with your Windows. I'm talking about Bazite and similar operating systems. Bazite is a Steam OS-like Linux distribution that I have installed in my home theater PC. When I boot up my PC, it boots directly into Steam Big Picture, and I never even have to touch a mouse or a keyboard if I'm just gaming. And if I do want to install emulators or PC ports or games just not on Steam, I can go into desktop mode, add a game to Steam, and when I boot back into the game mode, there they are. And I've been spending a lot of time using Bazite to build my own modern/retro gaming console. And I built this PC from older PC parts that I already had in the house. Lower end PCs are also getting more powerful than ever. In 2012, I remember using a Celeron laptop and how unusable that felt even when it was brand new. You can still find a video of me using this PC on my channel from 11 years ago. Yeah, that's looking pretty chunky. Even on the cheapest computers at Walmart, 8 gigabytes of RAM and SSDs are commonplace, and integrated graphics have come such a long way. It's still not better than a dedicated GPU, but I would have dreamed of having this when I was a kid. Games from a few years ago, emulators, and lower end games will run on basically any PC nowadays. And that's not to mention all the other options you have nowadays as well. There are also a ton of other options, like just using RetroArch on your phone, a Steam Deck, or even buying a cheaper device like an Anbernic handheld or a Retroid Pocket. And remember that random cereal box game from your childhood? You can rediscover that. My Abandonware is a collection of old PC games that never got re-released on any platform and can no longer be bought by any ordinary means like buying it on Steam. This is how my wife rediscovered an old Rainbow Fish game that she played when she was a kid, and how I discovered the Game of Life Windows game from 1998. If you've been playing games for a significant amount of time, you probably also have a huge backlog of games that you want to play. As for myself, I have hundreds of games that I haven't even opened in my Steam library, and I also have a ton of retro games that I want to play and finish as well. Companies keep making slop because consumers keep buying it. We are in the golden age of gaming because we are no longer taken captive by the companies that hold our hobby hostage. If they don't want to sell, remake, or remaster their games, we take it into our own hands now. You want to make your consoles boring and outlandishly expensive? We will make our own. We now have the freedom to choose what games we want to play, where we play them, and how we want to play them. I will not be buying new games. Instead, I will be playing my own remaster of Ape Escape 3.